For my project, I chose to better understand the impact of DNA testing. I gathered all of my information and published a website using Google Sites, like the one that I'm going to show you here. Doing that was quite easy. All you have to do is go to the Google Sites page and click on the button that says Create a New Page. From there, Google Sites will explain every step of how to do things. Also, if you need any help, there is a help button and you can type in any question that you have. Making a site on Google Sites was a lot easier than making a site using HTML and CSS code. In Google Sites, you have the option to embed code if you'd like, or you can select from the various different options they give you to design your site to look the way you want it to. Writing the HTML and CSS codes for this entire site would have taken a lot longer than it did to just make the site using Google. My Google site is stored on their cloud, which saves everything as you go. Google has autosave that saves your work every few seconds to ensure you don't lose anything. Anytime I want to access my site, I log into my Google account and my site is there for me to view or edit. To make my logo, banner, and animation for my site, which are seen right here, this is my banner, this right here is my logo, and my animation is down here. I used a photo editor called Pixlr. It was free to use and basically had all the same functions as Photoshop. To create my banner, I first chose a picture to use for the background layer. I found this picture on Google, saved it to my computer, and then uploaded it to Pixlr. Next, I added another layer and added text to the banner with the title of my project and my name. To create my logo, I again found a picture on Google, saved it to my computer, and uploaded it to Pixlr. The same process holds for the design of my logo as it did for my banner. To create my animation, I uploaded a few pictures that are relevant to my project to a GIF creator. This website took my pictures and created sort of a continuous slideshow that I could select the rate at which each picture progressed. The topic of my project is DNA testing and how it impacts our knowledge of our genealogy. There are a few intended purposes of DNA testing, like parental identification or forensic testing, but the most important aspect to me is discovering where you're from. This innovation created the opportunity for people like me, who are adopted and never knew where their ancestors were from, to discover their family histories in which they would have possibly never known without DNA testing. A benefit from DNA testing is discovering your family history. Along with this comes understanding your own genetic makeup. If you discover from your DNA test that high blood pressure runs in your family, there are steps you can take to prevent it from spiraling out of control. The graph to the left, right here, shows the increase of people worldwide using at-home DNA tests. DNA testing has not only affected people on a personal level, but also on our culture. DNA tests input your information into their website, and other members can see if they have any family connections to you. It is helping us connect with people around the world who we may have never spoken to without this innovation. This graph here to the right shows the perceived impact of DNA testing on society compared to the age of people who took my survey that I published on Google Forms. I gave it to my classmates to understand their perception of how DNA testing has impacted society based on their age. As you can see, the red block on the top, which is their perceived impact, doesn't really change based on the age of the person, which is the blue part of the column right here. DNA testing has not only impacted the computer science field, but also the forensic science field. Through DNA testing, more criminals are being put behind bars because of the technology that can be detected from even the slightest DNA sample given, any strand of hair, any fingerprint, any sort of DNA left at a crime scene. This is a video that I took of my friend Connor and asked him some questions about what he knew about the innovation. I used iMovie to edit the video and then uploaded and published the video on YouTube. Do you believe that DNA testing can be beneficial to more than just the person taking the test?
Yes, if I were to take a DNA test in hopes of perhaps finding biological relatives that I didn't have contact with, then they could then use that information to find people that also take a DNA test that would want to make contact with me.
And can you think of an example of how DNA testing could be harmful to the person taking the test?
Well, sure, if I were to take a DNA test and then perhaps commit a crime, they'd be able to link my DNA if I left some at the scene to the DNA test I took and incriminate me in that circumstance.
DNA samples are collected by gently rubbing buccal swabs against the inside of the cheek. The cheek cells adhere to the swab tips, and these cells contain enough DNA to generate a DNA profile.
This is the Google form that I use to survey my classmates. It's quite easy to use, and you can export the data directly into Google Sheets and make any charts or graphs that you want. Interacting with this innovation is quite easy. You sign up online and the company sends you their DNA kit in the mail. All you have to do is provide them with a sample of your saliva in the tube they sent, put it back in the box, and send it back. It's that easy. After the company analyzes the DNA sample, they upload the results to your personal account, and from there you can see any number of things about yourself. The big idea that I focused on is the innovation's use of algorithms to accomplish its purpose. Since our DNA sequence is made up of billions of pieces of DNA, the companies use algorithms to separate each piece of DNA and match it with other DNA sequences from the same region. Without the internet, though, none of this would be possible. This innovation produces and consumes data. It produces data derived from the DNA into percentages of each region that the user has, and it also consumes data by analyzing the DNA sample and inputting the data into their databases to see if the DNA matches any other sequences already in their database. One data storage concern is that with the increase in use of DNA tests, your personal data will be stored in their databases forever. With that comes concerns of data breaches and personal information being stolen, as well as law enforcement officers being able to serve a warrant to access your information without your permission. These are the resources I referenced throughout my project, and this number one right here is the resource that I use the most. I'll show you that in 1 second, but I would like to point out that using Google Sites is so easy. I made this sheet in Google Sheets and I imported it from Google Sheets into my Google site. So this right here was made on Google Sheets. This is my most used resource, and it really does a great job of explaining the history of DNA testing and how they extract the DNA, and so on. Thank you so much for watching my presentation on how DNA testing is impacting our society. For more information on the impact of DNA testing, you can visit my website located at the bottom of the slide.